Hello everybody, my name is Nick and this is LODE TV. As always, if this is your first time joining us, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as well as check out LODE.1 to learn more about how LODE is putting idle silver to work. And if you're already a member, welcome back. Now, as many of our viewers will note, we've seen a lot of price action in the silver market recently, and to help talk us through some of these movements, I have Phil Streible of RJO Futures. Phil, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Phil, silver has seen a lot of action as of late. It reached a high of almost $20 before rebounding back down to 18. What do you make of all this movement?
Well, I mean, short term, we're going to have a small pullback here. And the reason is that we saw some developments go on between the U.S. and China as far as trade negotiations. They look like they're going to pick back up in October. We saw a big flow into the equity markets. It looks like the S&P 500 could be gearing up to test that 3,000 mark again. In relation to the metals, we saw a big pullback, and what that was people, a combination of profit taking as well as people going, back into those risk assets like the equity markets and oil and other, commodities in general that would benefit from improved relations.
So with all of this being said, how high is the ceiling here? Is $30 to $40 silver a reality?
I think it is entirely possible. I mean, if we could break through that $20 hurdle, we get the momentum, we get the funds behind us, we also get an inflow of buying, we should see silver prices quickly move higher. The only problem we had the last go around when silver pushed all the way up to 50 was that the margin requirements shot up from just a few $1,000s on up to about 25,000. That takes a lot of the participants out of the market that can't afford to have that high level of margin in their account. So every 5,000 ounces you control, where it normally be about a $5,000 margin, went up to 25,000, and the movements became too volatile. So if we have more of an organized rally here where it's just this 30 to 50 cents per day, I think it's entirely possible that silver does that grind higher.
Now, Phil, you've been in open silver bugs for quite some time now. What is it about silver that you really love?
Well, I think that its fundamental use is everything from medical uses, technology. I think that it's got the store of value. It has a little bit of volatility, so it does attract some participants in the market, and also its technological, basis behind it. I think that silver is one of the best assets out there to own. I think that it's going to be a lot easier if we do see a demise of a currency like the US dollar. It would be easy to transfer silver into other currencies as opposed to holding something that's a high value like gold.
And speaking of gold, do you believe that gold is in part responsible for silver's recent price action? Is gold dragging silver up with it?
Gold initially made that move higher when we saw the geopolitical risks over in Hong Kong, and also tensions with Iran start to build. There was a first going and buying in the gold market. It took off, but once the ratio between gold and silver got too out of hand, we actually saw gold prices start to stall right around 1550. And we saw silver prices continue to rise. So I think that's where people had made that shift out of gold and into silver.
Now, Phil, just a couple more questions for you. How do you like to have exposure to silver? Is it physical? Do you buy ETFs? Give us a view here.
Well, I still like, you have a lot of different ways of owning it. I do like the physical quite a bit. The only burdensome part of it is a 100-ounce silver bar is going to weigh 6.6 pounds. So logistically, if you were going to have a lot of silver to move around on the physical side, it's not very efficient. I do like the ETFs. I do like the futures contracts. I think the futures contracts provide some benefit as far as if you're going to take delivery, the storage facility is already in place through the exchanges. The cost for monthly storage is pretty low, and you have that flexibility to get in and out of the market pretty easy.
All right, Phil, last question for today. Thank you again for joining us. What are your thoughts on a silver-backed cryptocurrency such as the LODE project's AGX coin?
I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm surprised it hasn't been explored already. I'm glad to hear that you guys are working on a project like that, and I think that it would attract a lot of interest. People that generally invest in precious metals, they really believe in the product and they're long-term investors. So I think if you started that cryptocurrency backed by something like silver, I think that it would draw a lot of attention.
That's all we have for today's interview with Phil Streible of RJO Futures. So glad that you could join us. And as always, if this is your first time, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as well as check out LODE.1 to learn more about how LODE is putting idle silver to work. That's all for today, guys, and take care.